What to say to someone in emotional pain. I'm going to show you how to really show up for someone you love. I have seen so many people in pain, emotional pain, deep pain. They've been betrayed, they've been hurt, they've been cheated on. All of those people desire one thing from those that they love. I'm going to show you what that one thing is. Human beings are hardwired for connection. We all want to be loved, seen, heard, and understood. When we feel pain, we really want connection. We want to know that somebody feels that pain with us. One of my favorite shows is called Alone, and it's the show where people go out and they survive by themselves for as long as they possibly can. And they're all alone when they survive. Now, a lot of people go home because they starve, or they don't have enough water or a good shelter. But most of the people on that show end up going home because they miss their family, because they're alone. And when they go home for that reason, all of the people watching, they get it. They know why they're going home, because we all understand that connection is the most important thing to us, that we all desire that, especially when we're in emotional pain. When we're in emotional pain, what we want is for people to care that we're in pain and to hold space for us. Just to hold space for us to feel what we're feeling, to process what we're feeling. So that's what a person who loves you is going to do when you're in emotional pain. You guys, I'm going to talk about things that don't work when somebody's in emotional pain. And I'm going to talk about ways that you can connect to somebody in emotional pain. But before I do, please hit that like button. So here are the mistaken responses to emotional pain. One of the big ones is fix-it mode. When somebody's in pain, especially someone we love, it's uncomfortable for us. And if we have the answers, we get eager to tell them the answers because we don't like that they're in emotional pain. Now you think, well, that's such a nice thing. You're helping them out. You're helping them fix it. There's a big problem to it. You're actually showing up for yourself. You're not showing up for them. You're uncomfortable that they're in emotional pain, so you're trying to get them out of it rather than just be there with them. You're not holding space when you're trying to fix it. The next thing is logic and reason. If you come in with all the facts and you say, well, actually, this is why it's okay. This is why you shouldn't be in pain. You're not validating their pain. You're not creating space for their pain. You're giving them all the reasons why they shouldn't be in pain. When they're in an emotional state of mind, they don't need your logic. They don't need your reasons. They just need your heart. They need you to connect to them and hold some space for them. The other thing that doesn't work is defensiveness. If they're sad, scared, angry, is for you to say, well, you shouldn't feel that because I never did that, or I'm not bad. Don't make it about you. When you make it about you, you're not creating space for them. When you turn the tables back on them, that does not create any empathy or any way for them to process. So somebody who's not safe, somebody who doesn't care about them would get defensive. The last thing not to do is to avoid. When somebody's in emotional pain, don't retreat. Don't hide. Don't get scared because they're in pain. Step into it with them. Hold that pain with them. Be there for them rather than isolate and avoid. The first thing that you can do to connect to somebody in emotional pain is just listen. Just listen. Just open your ears and listen. Don't say a bunch of things. Just listen. And you can reflect back that you're listening. If they say, I'm hurt, I'm sad, I'm scared, this bothers me, then you can say, I hear that you're hurt. I hear that you're sad. I hear that you're scared. The next step is you can start to dig. Dig a little bit into what they're feeling. Why does that hurt you? Where is that coming from for you? Your tone needs to be inquisitive and caring and open to what they're feeling. But you're trying to help them process what they're feeling and get some of it out. As you dig, you start to explore with them who they are and why they're feeling what they're feeling. At this point, a lot of emotions might come out. They might start to cry. They might start to shut down a little bit, even yell or get angry. But some emotions might come out as you're digging with them. That's actually a good thing. You're a safe person who's helping them process through their emotions. The next thing you can do is validate them. Let them know that it's okay. Let them know that you're there and that you love them and that anybody would be feeling what they're feeling. You want to communicate to them that you understand. You're not judging them as crazy or over the top or whatever. You're just saying, I'm here for you, and it's okay that you're feeling what you're feeling. The last thing is empathizing. And that's just sitting in that emotion with them, just being there with them. I want to tell you a story about empathizing. I got a call from a neighbor, and he said, hey, Brannon, come over. I'm going through a hard time. Now, this neighbor had been diagnosed with cancer, actually years before. I went over to his house, and he said, the doctor just told me there's nothing else they can do. The doctor just told me I have about 6 weeks to live. And I need to tell my daughters that. At that time, he had a 5-year-old and he had a 9-year-old daughter who didn't know that dad was going to die. So I went over there, and he was there, and the daughters weren't there yet. And I just kind of talked to him about how he was feeling and where he was at. And it was sad. It was sad in the house. The daughters came in, and he just started to cry. And he looked at his daughters, and he just cried with them. I was there with him. I was sitting on the couch next to them as this was happening. I didn't fix it. I didn't say anything to them. I actually sat on the couch and cried as he talked to his daughters. I just felt what he was feeling. I was empathizing with him. Sometimes all somebody needs who's in emotional pain is they just need you to be there. They need you to be present with them and empathizing with them so that they can process through what they're going through. As I'm talking about empathy, it's critical that you understand emotions. So go check out my video. What are some of the basic emotions that we all experience?